Hey guys, welcome to the show. Today we're here at Extreme Couture in Las Vegas, and we're going to be hanging out with a boxing coach from Extreme Couture, Ron Frazier. So we're here with my boy Ron Frazier. Ron, what's going on, man?
Not much, just chilling over here at Extreme Couture and getting ready for the pros to practice at about 4 o'clock today.
Now there's a lot of pros in here. I mean, this gym is just full of studs. And you're just right in the middle of it, coaching all these guys, and there's a few hot women in here as well. I've noticed that the stable has added some really talented, first of all, but beautiful women as well.
Well, yeah, we have to thank Miss Gina Carano for that. She definitely ups our looks department, and she'll bring it, and that's what I like about her. Not only is she a beautiful woman, but she will bring it in the ring or the cage, wherever you put her in a fight, she's gonna bring it.
Now let's talk about your boxing background. What got you started in boxing?
Muhammad Ali. Grew up being a huge fan of Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard and wanted to do it. My mom didn't want me to do it. She wanted me to do other sports, and I kept doing it. And unfortunately, I had to make a choice between basketball and boxing, and I chose basketball. Mainly, I think, because my mom wanted me to not box. But some of the basketball trips that I had early, or so-called basketball trips, were really boxing trips. My dad knew, my mom didn't.
Yeah. Now, you work with a lot of amateur boxers over at UNLV.
Yes.
And what is your passion for amateur boxing?
Just the guys' willingness to learn. I mean, they're very new to the sport, and we have a great team over there. Skipper Kelp's the head coach. Chris Ben is another coach who actually coaches over here with me, and they were open-minded when they brought me in, and to bring my experiences along, and it's just the kids' willingness to learn, and they really appreciate how we don't make everybody fight the same way. Whatever your style is what your style is, and then we improve upon it.
Oh, well, that's nice. And you're able to really just assist these guys in finding their style as well, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. But some of them have preconceived notions of what they can do or what they don't think they can do, and then we'll change some of that around as we go along.
Well, as you said earlier, today we're here at Extreme Couture. How did you get involved with MMA fighters in general?
Oh, that's a great story. Skipper Kelp, like I mentioned before, who's the head coach at UNLV, he has another gym in town, JSEC, along with John Lewis. And I was working over there with Skip. He kind of used a Jedi mind trick on me because I didn't really want to get back into training anyone, let alone fighters. And one day he was like, man, you need to train fighters. You know a lot about the sport. You can do this. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And he's like, you can do this. And then one day he's like, yo, I'm going out of town. I need you to teach my class for a week. So I filled in for him. And, he came back, man, everybody loved you. You need to come over to UNLV and help me out. So I go over to UNLV and help him out. And then one day, Mike Pyle, one of the fighters over here, one of the top fighters, he was working out at JSEC, and he needed somebody to help him with mitts. So I started doing mitt work with him, and he had this look on his face one day, and I was like, what? He's like, well, I got to fight in 5 weeks, and I don't have anyone to train me. And I also do strength and conditioning as well as boxing, so we started doing that, and it was funny because I usually get to UNLV at noon and leave by 4, and I was going over to JSEC at night. Well, he calls me like 4:30 right in my break and go, can you open up the gym early today? And I'm like, no, I cannot open up the gym early. It's my break. He says, Randy Couture wants to work out at 5. I said, guess I'm opening up the gym early. So I opened up the gym, and this was right before Randy had fought Chuck the second time. And I didn't really work with him much, just kind of helped him out a couple of days. Mike fought on the Sport Fight card up in Portland, which Randy and Matt Lindland puts on. And, we stayed at Randy's house when we were up there. And, just for being so gracious and his hospitality, so if there's anything I can ever do for you, let me know. Well, a month later, he's back in Vegas, and he said, I'm getting ready for the Mike Van Arsdale fight, and I need help with my hands. Would you help me out? And the rest is history.
Yeah. Well, that's a great story. Actually, it's one that I didn't know much about at all. Tell me about MMA stand-up versus boxing stand-up, and what we're looking at with what do these MMA guys need to really focus on that you and I can definitely see they're not focusing on. And I mean, in general, what can help these guys out?
I think staying in the box a little bit more. That's something you don't see MMA guys do. And what I mean by that means you're in your opponent's range, but you're using head movement and slips and all that sort of stuff to not allow you to get hit and then punch back. That's something they're having a hard time adjusting to, because a lot of them come from wrestling or jiu-jitsu background. So if they get that close, they want to take you all the way down. But a lot of them hands are starting to get to the point where, hey, why don't you make it easier on yourself and knock somebody out?
Yeah. Well, if you notice, guys, if you really take a look back especially at the fight with Tim Sylvia, Randy's last fight, there was a lot of upper body movement, a lot of head movement from Randy. And I noticed that first off. I was like, damn, he's been working on his hands.
Yeah, Randy has been working on his hands, but I think the fact that Tim was 6'8" and had that long reach may have had more to do with that head movement than me.
Well, that's very gracious of you. You know what? I think we should take a little bit of time and maybe give everyone at home a little bit of info on how to hold mitts. There seems to be a discrepancy on how to correctly do that. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I laugh a lot and call it the $1 Million Baby, because everybody's seen the movie, and I love Clint Eastwood, great actor, not a great mitt holder, but I've seen a lot of trainers hold mitts like that, and I'm going, what is that? I mean, you want to give your guy an accurate target. You don't want to make your fighter reach for the target, because you don't want them reaching for their opponent, because it makes them very vulnerable defensively. So if you do that on the mitts, though, they'll translate that and do it in the ring or in the cage.
All right, guys, so now you're going to learn how not to be a Clint Eastwood $1 Million Baby mitt holder. Here we go. All right, guys, so I'm going to turn it over to Ron. We're going to get some mitt work on, so sit back and learn something.
All right. Now, I've seen people mess mitts up. The funniest thing, I was watching a fight a couple weeks ago, and a guy's fighting a left-hander, and they're warming him up in the back orthodox. And I was like, no, you have to turn lefty. So it's important that you know how to switch sides, hold mitts from both sides. And I think it's also important for every fighter out there to learn how to hold mitts, because whether it's Thai pads or boxing mitts, it makes you sit in the pocket and really see the punches coming, so you can see how to slip or block them and come back with your own counters.
Okay.
So right now, we're just going to start with the basics. Now, in $1 Million Baby, we have my man Clint's way over here. Well, my body or my head is not over here. So I try to hold him as close to me as possible. One, boom, one. It's coming at my face. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. It's at my face. Everything is at my face. If I ask for a body shot, I'll come here so you'll actually hit my body, because that's how you're gonna punch in the ring or in the cage. I don't want it, you'll see a lot of people hold it out here. Well, my body's not gonna be out there. So I try to put it on my body, so now you have the actual target you're gonna hit in the ring or the cage.
So if you guys want more of this, come to Extreme Couture here in Las Vegas and get up with my man Ron Frazier.
Thanks.